Om Namah Shivaya. As I had mentioned at the beginning of our puja, we'll do a short PowerPoint to give you all an update on progress at our Banalingeshwara ashram. Finally, yesterday, all the scaffolding came down. So that's why these pictures are so fantastic. So that's the sun shining, early morning, sun shining on the Banalingeshwara main temple. Here you will also see a row of the Shiva Lingam. So I'll just go through a couple of these pictures real quick. So that's again from the east side, and this is one of the 108 Shiva Lingams in the forefront here. So that is Swamiji's kutia, what we call, and then there is a little more work done on there. On the terrace of the Swamiji's kutia, we put a nice matching tiles. So that area would be the satsang area, in an open area. There'll be a lot of plants coming around here. Before I go any further, I need to give, on behalf of all of you, our humble gratitude to Sri Ramji, who has really worked hard. Once a week, he left his business, family, and a 2-year-old child to come to ashram to supervise this. So, but for him, this work is not possible. So with that said, I'll continue. So that would be our main satsang area. There'll be a lot of plants here. And also, for every 3 of the 108 Shiva Lingams, there will be a bilva tree. They will be in pots because there's not much room there. So we need to keep these trees, the sizes under control. So all around there will be bilva trees. Now this is again from the east side, very close up. Now you can see Banalingeshwara in the morning, still out, the morning rising sun. Arunodayam. So Arunodayam means rising sun. Banalingeshwara in Arunodayam. This one is again a view where you could see the fields behind all the greenery. The paddy fields are there in the back. So what you see here at this corner here is our Havanshala, Yajna Mantapam. So that's where most of our Havans will be done. So when I am there, we will do every day Rudra Homam there, in that little Havanshala there. We don't have a close-up on that, but that's quite a good size Havanshala there. This is our Banalingeshwara. We have ordered a different Vibhuti, the Tripundram, because this was like oversized. So that's Banalingeshwara close-up in his own shrine. What you are seeing here is the north wall of our Dhyana Mantapam. This is right under the Banalingeshwara, right under Banalingeshwara. So as you see, we have these shrines. So this is on all the 3 sides, north, south, and then the west, because the front would be the entrance. On all the sides, this arrangement is the same. So we will have 2 of the smaller shrines, and then in the middle we have this big shrine. So on the north side, Sambdar here, and then Appar will be here. But this is how they will look like. So that is on the north side. And then what you see in the middle, Chandikeshwara Anugraha Murti. This one in the middle, each one in the middle on all the 3 sides will be a 5.5 tall Murtis. They won't be whole Murtis, but will be projections, like what they call cladding. So there'll be projections carved on stone. There'll be 8-9 inches projections on a stone. So this is exactly they would look like. So what you see here is Parameshwara and Parvati. And this figure that you see here, with the head bowed down and folded hands in submission, is Chandikeshwara Nayanar, Chandikeshwara Nayanar. Now what is happening here is, Shiva has taken a garland of Kondrai Malar, and then he is wrapping it around the head of Chandikeshwara Nayanar. Now why is he doing this? Because Chandikeshwara Nayanar was a very young boy, 10, 12 years old. He used to graze the cattle, the cows. From the village, he would collect all the cows, take them to the fields, out to the forests, graze them, and bring them back in the evening. So while doing this, what he also used to do, he used to build a Shiva Lingam out of dirt and sand, and then worship that Shiva Lingam while the cows are grazing. And then some of the cows used to come and they would go there and then shed their milk on the Shiva Lingam that Chandikeshwara is worshipping. So he would also collect milk on some pots, like mud pots, and then he will do Abhishekam himself. Now this has been going on for a while, and the village people came to know that this is what he's doing, that milking their cows and doing Abhishekam to the Shiva Lingam that he made every day. So they went and complained to his father that this is what your son is doing. You know, he takes our cows, and then by the time he brings them back, we don't get as milk that we used to get milk. So his father wanted to verify for himself. So one day he goes there to see for himself, and lo and behold, that's exactly what's happening. Chandikeshwara Nayanar made this Shiva Lingam out of sand and dirt, and then worshipping it, and then Abhishekam with milk. And the pots, a few pots of milk filled with milk there. So his father is enraged, and then he comes and kicks those pots with his foot. And then also what he does, he kicks the Shiva Lingam also with his foot. So Chandikeshwara Nayanar is so enraged, so he just throws the stick. He just throws it. And what happens when he throws the stick turns into like a little sword, and then kind chops off his father's legs. And then his father falls down bleeding. And at that point, Shiva appears and graces him, and he said, I'm pleased with your bhakti. Now what can I do for you? And he said, first of all, you heal my father, make his legs okay, all right, and then revive him. And then keep me under your feet all the time. So those are the two boons he's asking. Now, the amazing thing is, none of the other Nayanmars got this privilege, but except the Chandikeshwara Nayanar. Parvati Parameshwara was so pleased because he was just a young boy, very young boy, 10, 12 years old. And he said, we are going to appoint you as custodian of all our assets. Shiva's assets is his whole cosmos, right? So now, can you believe that a 12-year-old is the owner of the whole cosmos? So Shiva's assets. So particularly all the Shiva temples, all the assets of the Shiva temples, Chandikeshwara Nayanar or Chandikeshwara Nayanar is the custodian of Shiva's property. So if you visit any temple in South India, built according to the Agama Shastras, to the north of the main shrine of Lord Shiva or Shiva Lingam, you would see a shrine of Chandikeshwara Nayanar, because he is the guardian of all his property. So he always gets a place there. None of the other Nayanmars, not Sundaramurthy Nayanar, not Sambdar, not even Appar. So every Shiva temple, the one Nayanmar that's right next to Shiva on the north side in a separate shrine is Chandikeshwara Nayanar. Because as you see in this picture, Chandikeshwara Anugraha, he is doing Anugraha to Chandikeshwara by taking out that kondrai flower garland of his, the string of flowers from his jata, and then wrapping it on Chandikeshwara's head. So that's one of the reasons. If you go visit any South Indian temple, you would see devotees going around in pradakshina, and when they come in front of Chandikeshwara Nayanar, they would clap their hands like this. So, when I was young, my uncle used to do that, and everybody saw that. When I asked them, why do you have to clap the hand? The general explanation, which most of you may have heard, is that this deity, the Chandikeshwara Nayanar, cannot hear. He is deaf. So you have to clap his hand, get his attention, and then pray to him. That was the explanation. But unfortunately, that's not the explanation. The real explanation is the reason you bring you strike your hands together is tell Chandikeshwara Nayanar, look, you're the custodian of Shiva's property. I am leaving the temple now, and I'm not even carrying a speck of dust on my hand. So they clap the hand, and even there's a speck of dust on your hand, that'll fall off. So that's the reason you clap the hands, and then you offer worship to him, just telling him, look, I'm clean, I'm leaving, because there's no security camera there. So you just clap the hand and tell him with honestly, look, I'm not carrying anything from here, I'm clean, so give me permission to go. So that is Chandikeshwara Nayana. So that will be on the north side. So this is how it will look like inside the shrine. That is Sambdar, actual statue, model statue. That will be inside the shrine, there will be a whole Murti there. And then this would be Appar inside the shrine on the north side. And then this would be Chandikeshwara Anugraha Murti on the north side. So all these three will be on the north side. And then this will be the west side, where you would have, on the right side, first will be Sundarar. After that would be Mancika Vasagar. And then right in the middle would be Gaja Samhara Murti. You know, one of the 108 names, Kritivasa se namaha. Kritivasa. Kritivasa is that one who has worn a garment of an elephant. Kritivasa se namaha, Purarate namaha. So this is Kritivasa here. So Kritivasa se namaha. So the story is that there are two versions, but the first version is what I go with. Most of you who attended my online satsangs while we did the Rudram discourses may have had this information, or if you attended one of my discourses on Upadesha Saram, you would have also had that. And so the story is, in Dwarkavanam, there were rishis, and then these rishis were so well versed and learned in all the rituals, it got into their head that by performing rituals alone, by performing homam, by performing yajnas, everything they could achieve. Got into their head that we don't need any god, we don't need Shiva, we don't need Vishnu, so we ourselves can achieve everything we want. So that was their attitude. So now Vishnu saw all this and said, well, this is not right. So Vishnu goes to Shiva, and lo and behold, same thing happens, like Vishnu takes the form of a beautiful Mohini, and then Shiva takes the form of a Bhikshadana, the most handsome Bhikshadana, and come to Dwarkavanam, and then where the ashram is, these rishis are. So when they walk in the streets, all these rishi patnis, the wives of the rishis, they're bewitched by the form of Bhikshadana, Lord Shiva. They're mesmerized. Whatever they had in their hands and their necks, they just offer it to him as Bhiksha, and they're kind of fallen in great love for him. And also the Mohini, form of Vishnu, when that Mohini walked by the rishis were bewitched also. But then the rishis were so enraged that person, this mendicant, has mesmerized their wives. So they try to destroy Lord Shiva by creating all kind of things from their homam. One of them was a tiger, which they send, and of course Lord Shiva takes care of it and wears the skin of a tiger. And then the next one, they send this mad elephant created out of their yajna. And then he takes care of that also. So as you would see, it's very difficult to see here, but you would see it's an elephant head where Lord Shiva's 1 foot is standing. And then he is holding some of the tusk of this, on the other hand. And then he is just wrapping around the hide, elephant hide on himself. So that's one story. The other version is from Varanasi, where there was this Asura who got all these boons and then took the form of an elephant, Gajasura, destroying all the rishis' properties and everything and their ashrams. So they pray to Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva takes care of that elephant, and then he wears that skin as his ornament. So that's another story. Now there is a temple here for this Gaja Samhara Murti in Valluvur, in Tamil Nadu. There's a beautiful temple, Valluvur. So most of you who are into Bharatanatyam and all that would have heard about Valluvur Ramayya Pillai. So Valluvur is where this temple for Gaja Samhara Murti. It's a very beautiful statue that will be carved there. And then after that, Sundaramurti Nayanar shrine. And then this is the statue form. And then after that, the Mancika Vasagar shrine. And then this would be the Gaja Samhara Murti. And now coming to the south side, of course, talking about south, you have to have Dakshina Murthy, right? Now the name itself says Dakshina. Dakshina means south, but unfortunately, that's not the real meaning. Dakshina Murthy is named not because he's facing the south, but for a very good reason. What is that reason? See, if you split the word Dakshina Murthy, it is Dakshina Amurti. Dakshina is the right side. Here is not a direction, the right side of you. And Amurti is the formless. So formless one on the right side. That's the real meaning of Dakshinamurti. Does it make any sense? Formless one on the right side. It does make sense because if you are familiar with Ramana Maharishi's teachings, Ramana Maharshi always used to say that your spiritual heart is on your right side. Your physical heart may be on the left side, but your spiritual heart is on the right side. And very rarely, if you're a blessed person, your physical heart also will be on the right side. But that takes a lot of blessings. Punya. So the spiritual heart is on the right side. Now, who is in there? You all know that from the Upanishads, from everywhere, that in your Atma, Sa Atma Savijnaya, Sivoham, that Lord Shiva is the one who resides in your Atma, in the heart, in a formless form. That Shiva is formless. Because Vyakta Vyakta Nurupitincha Paramam Shatram Sadattvadikam. That formless form has taken all this form. So that formless form, Lord Shiva, inside of you, your Atma, Sa Atma Savijnaya, Shivam Shantam Chatuttam Manyante, Sa Atma Savijnaya. So know that to be your Atma, know that Shiva to be your Atma, Shivoham. And then Appar also says, Tirumoolar, Nanmuhanum, Tirumoolar, Nanmuhanum, Tedi Tedana Devana, Yenulle Tedi Kandukonden. The one that could not be found by Vishnu and Brahma, where did I find him? In myself. I looked for him, searched for him, but I found him. Yenulle Tedi Kandukonden. So that is your Dakshina Murti, the formless one who is on the spiritual heart on your right side. That is Dakshina Murti. That is why Dakshina Murti is Meda Dakshina Murti, Gnana Dakshina Murti. He is the one that you pray to. That is his Mula mantra you chant. Dakshina Murti's mantras you chant for Jnanam, for enlightenment. So this is your real Guru. So Dakshina Murti, Dakshina Murti. So that will be on the south side. And then we also have Tirumoolar, because our ashram is named after him. So it's very important that we have a statue of Tirumoolar. So that is Tirumoolar, Thiruvannamalai Tirumoolar ashram. So that is Tirumoolar. But technically, this is how Tirumoolar is depicted as per the Agama Shastras, the Shilpa Shastras, and that's where we're going to have him. And the reason is because Sundarar, who was originally from Tamil Nadu, went to Kailash and was with Shiva. And then, after many years, he decided to come back to south and visit his contemporary Agastya. So Sundarar was a saint, and then while traveling, and he was visiting all the 12 Jyotirlingas on the way, finally he comes to Tamil Nadu, crosses the Kaveri river near Tiruvavadurai. He comes to Tiruvavadurai, crosses the Kaveri, and he is sitting in meditation under a peepal tree. And then at a distance, he looks at a herd of cows huddled together, looking at some things. He said, this is strange. There should be grazing. Instead, they are all huddled together with their faces and their heads all focused at one point. So he just knows something is not right. Lo and behold, the cow herd is dead, bitten by a snake. The cow herd is dead, and the cows are all very sad. So overcome by compassion, decides to make the situation right. Sundarar, who was a great saint, who had all the Ashtama Siddhis, and one of the Siddhis he had is to leave his body and enter into another body. That's in Tamil, it's called Kudu Vittu Kudu Pairadu. So that's what he does. He hides his own body under the bushes and then leaves his body. So he enters the body of the cowherd, whose name was Moolan. When he enters the body, so Moolan comes back to life and the cows are happy. The form that you see here is the young cowherd form that Tirumoolar kept. And then after he enters, the cows are happy because Moolan is alive now. So he drives all the cows back home, and then after leaving cows, each one at their respective houses, he is turning around and going back to the forest. At that point of time, the Moolan's wife, the original cowherd wife, comes and then stops him, says, "Where are you going?" He says, "Well," he said, "I'm not your husband." She's so shocked. He says, "So what is your problem here?" He says, No, I'm not really your husband." And she makes a lot of hullabaloo and gets all the village people together. And then Tirumoolar explains what happened, that the original cowherd is dead, and then he is a rishi, and then he enters his body to help the cows out. And then so the village panchayat decides, after talking to him, they find he's a wise, his wisdom, and is not the same as that cowherd could put forth. So they tell his wife, "Please leave him. This is a great saint, and whatever he says seems to be true." So reluctantly, she let him go up. And then when Tirumoolar comes back to the forest, he couldn't find his body. So he says, "What happened here?" Then he closes his eyes and then realizes this is Shiva's sankalpam, that he should remain in this young cowherd's body. And then in Tamil, he should do the agamas and all the shastras in Tamil as Tirumantiram. So that's being Shiva's sankalpam. He stays under that peepal tree in deep samadhi, and he did this for 3,000 years. So once a year he would wake up from samadhi and then bring out 4-line verses called Tirumantiram. So like that for 3,000 years, he compiled 3,000 verses, 3,000 4-line verses. It's called Tirumoolar's Tirumantiram. You name it, everything is there. Vedas are there, Agamas are there, Tantras are there, Mantras are there, everything. All that is in Hinduism. There's nothing that Tirumoolar has not talked about. Everything, even material life, related to material life. So that is Tirumoolar. And then after that, we have Agasthyar. So this is Agasthyar, great saint. Again from the south, was a great saint. Agasthyar is mentioned in Mahabharata as Ramayana. Tado Yuddha Parishrantam. That is Agastya in Ramayana. He's also a great Tamil saint, one of the 18 Siddhas, and that's Agastya, and that's Dakshina Murthy. And then these are the Dwarapalakas. They'll be in the middle. I put them here right in the front because I couldn't put them all the way back there. So this will be the Dwarapalakas at the main entrance to the meditation hall. And then what about this Mandala Abhishekam we were doing? See, reciting Rudram, the 11 Anvakas of Rudram, considered as one round. So if you do that 11 times with Chamakam in between, one para of Chamakam in between, if you recite Rudram 11 times, it's called Rudra Ekadashini or Ekadasha Rudram. And if you do this Ekadasha Rudram, Ekadashini 11 times, that's 121. So that is Lagu Rudram. And then 11 of this Lagu Rudram, which means 121 times 11 is one Maharudram. So that's what we will be doing with about 24 to 28 priests. With Homam, there will be about 11 priests assigned to do the Homam, and the rest would be chanting. And then Atirudram is even bigger. That's 11 times 1331. So that we are not doing. We're planning to do it during November, God willing, Shiva Sankalpam. So that's pretty much what we are planning this time. So thanks to all of you who are supporting this. And then if you haven't sponsored any of these, please do so. They're all pretty much going very fast. So participate in this work of Lord Shiva. This is not my work, not anybody's work. This is just Lord Shiva's work himself. The way this has progressed from day one within a year is amazing, amazing. So thank you for all those who already sponsored, and then thank you for all of you who are going to sponsor with this beautiful picture of Nandishwara from our Tirumoolar ashram. We would conclude this presentation. So Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.